You are now in room 1, also known as the Sala Maggiore, which houses the oldest works in the collection dating to the 13th century. The large cross that greets you at the entrance is an extraordinary example of early Franciscan art. It was painted for the church of San Francesco al Prato in Perugia by an anonymous artist known as the Maestro di San Francesco, because of his painting of the figure of Saint Francis on a wooden panel kept in the Museo della Porziuncola in Assisi. He was also the first artist to decorate the walls of the Basilica di San Francesco in Assisi, where he painted the oldest cycle of fresco in the lower church, depicting the stories of Saint Francis and the stories of Christ, the fundamental forerunner of the famous frescoes painted by Giotto in the upper church. This large cross used to hang at the intersection between the nave and the transept of the church of San Francesco in Perugia, based on the Basilica in Assisi, where the cross painted by Giunta Pisano had been placed since 1236. Due to its imposing size, the cross must have focused the attention of the faithful on the figure of Christ, who is depicted as patiens, or suffering. The arched body, the relaxed abdomen, the head leaning on the shoulder, the blood spurting from the wounds are all intended to emphasize the depth of his suffering. Next to the Christ in the side panels, we can see the Virgin Mary on the left and St. John the Evangelist on the right, both depicted as full-length figures. Above, the Virgin is praying with her arms outstretched towards the heavens, between two angels, and in the uppermost part, a tondo depicting Christ the resurrected, who shows an open book with the words, "I am the Alpha and Omega." At the feet of the crucified Christ, a small figure is immediately recognizable as Saint Francis. The kneeling saint has the stigmata on his hands and feet and indicates with an eloquent gestures the wounds of the feet of Christ, the sign of his suffering. This is the oldest surviving crucifix depicting the figures of Saint Francis. Moreover, the stigmata are extremely clear, emphasizing that he shares the suffering of Christ, a guarantee of his special holiness. Below the trickles of blood spurting from Jesus' feet is an extremely important detail, a Latin inscription with the date, the year of our Lord, 1272, during the papacy of Pope Gregory X. The same artist also painted a two-sides wooden panel, known as reredos, positioned on the altar of the same church, with one side facing the faithful, the other facing the friars seated on the choir. Unfortunately, only fragments of this panel painting remain. In this museum, to the left of the large cross, there are several figures of Saint Francis, Saint Andrew, Saint Peter, Saint Anthony of Padua, and two elements depicting of the deposition of Christ from the cross and the lamentation over the dead Christ. The striking features in these two scenes is the artist's capacity to convey the emotions of the character through their gestures. The Virgin Mary kissing the arm of Christ in the scene of the deposition. In the scene of the lamentation, the angels raise their arms in desperation towards the heavens, and the women weep. These two scenes, together with the figures of St. Anthony of Padua, made up part of the side facing the faithful. The side facing the friars, sitting in the apse of the church, had paintings of the 12 apostles, together with Saint Francis.